Welcome to my edible garden. In today's episode, I'll be discussing what tigernuts are. I'll also be talking about whether they can be grown in the UK, and I'll be showing you some footage of results from some I grew last year. So let's get into it. What are tigernuts? Tigernuts have been grown all around the world for more than 4,000 years. In countries like Spain, they're also referred to as CHUFA or CHUFA. However, they are not actually a nut. Tigernuts are tuberous rhizomes of a type of sedge grass, and they are high in magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, vitamin C and E, and have many other nutritional health benefits. In countries like Africa and Spain, it is often made into a milk and is often called horchata in Spain. It is also dried and ground down into tigernut flour. It is often grown in riverbeds and swampy areas and likes a wet, moist soil and grows like a grass, and it's very fast growing. Tigernuts have also been used by fishermen as bait for when they're fishing. I've managed to grow tigernuts successfully in the UK. I want to share that journey with you. So let's get started, shall we? I started by soaking my tigernuts overnight, and then I popped them out into about 2 inches deep into soil and left them to do their thing. After about 3 weeks of planting them out, they started to make an appearance. The tigernuts are starting to make an appearance. These were planted out in the beginning of May. You can see the tigernuts are coming up a lot more stronger and healthier. And I'm noticing, so if you can see down here in this corner, some brand new shoots coming up. Unfortunately, me being impatient, I looked. The seed that I planted here and here rotted. So it's not bad considering I didn't think we were going to get any growth this year. Not doing too bad, the tiger nuts there. They were left to just do their own thing. I kept them watered and they kept pushing up lots and lots of new sedge grasses. This is the tigernut box, yeah. But look, it grows like a grass, yeah, and then it keeps pushing up like new. Can you see? Let me zoom in and see. Can you see like that? Like it just keeps pushing up new grass. So I'm like, all this space here still. And can you see it's like new shoots just pushing up, look. Just bare grass, look how long it is. I just want to do an update on the tigernuts. Look how big they are, but also want to show you that they are still pushing out new shoots. There, I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and zoom in a bit. Can you see the newest shoot there? It's pushing out grass in the middle now, so I'm really hoping to get a good harvest of tigernuts from this. The grass is actually really getting tall. So I'm excited to see how many tigernuts we get from this. I left the grass to continue to grow, and as you can see, by September it was at least 2 to 3 foot tall. And I made it a choice at this point to actually harvest the nuts. Now normally they would recommend that you'd let the grass die back a little bit and change colour, dry out a little bit. However, I was very impatient, which, lucky for me, was not actually a bad thing because we got an absolute great harvest. Considering this was the first time I'd actually attempted to grow tigernuts in the UK, I was so impressed. See, as you can see, they grow under the grass in the soil, a bit like how a potato or sweet potato would. But I will say though, it is quite time consuming trying to dig them out because they are tiny and covered in mud. Oh my god, there's so many nuts falling in here. I literally felt like a little kid at a lucky dip. I don't know if you can remember them little lucky dip boxes at the school fete where you'd have loads of little gifts wrapped up and you'd put your hand in to try and dig one out. Well, listen, I was digging away at these tigernuts for a very long time, so I will recommend having some patience. However, I must say it was a lot of fun. Once I dug them all out, I popped them in this colander And then I kind of let them dry out for a little while and then shook them to try and get some of the main residue of mud off them. And then I rinsed them under the sink and soaked them for a little while just to get the excess mud off of the tops of them. Now I wanted to show you up close exactly how the plant system works. So as I said before, it's a type of sedge grass, and you've got the grass, and then at the bottom you've got these little roots, and at the bottom of each root you've got the tiger nuts attached, which I'll show you here. So that's a tiger nut there, and you can see that it was attached by one of the roots, which is quite similar to how potatoes and sweet potatoes grow. You can see there's another tiger nut right there on its root, and I just literally pop it off and I'll add it to my colander. Now this is what they look like after I'd given them a good shake in here to get some of the mud off. And after this stage, I then just soaked them for a little while, probably about half an hour, then scrubbed them a little bit, which took off the mud completely. At this stage, they were ready to eat. And in all honesty, they taste absolutely delicious fresh out the ground. But what I then did is I dried them out so that I could store them and eat like you would any normal nut. So what I'd do to dry them out, I just basically lay them on some kitchen paper cloth, and as they start drying out, they start shrinking and go a bit wrinkly. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit more on them. So they start losing moisture, if you can see that, and they go a bit more on the wrinklier side and get sweeter. So tasty and so healthy. And look, let me just eat once you hear the crunch, okay? Listen. So, has the texture of like coconut meat. I'd say it tastes between like an almond and a hazel. Really, really, really healthy. Full of resistant starches, so these are good for your gut. And why am I buying them when I can grow them? So easy. So, would I recommend growing tiger nuts in the UK? Yes, I most definitely would. Not only was it really fun to grow, but I found them to be exceptionally easy to grow. And it was like a treasure chest, trying to dig for gold, searching for the little tubers. And I didn't have to search too far because they were quite compact. And I think if I'd let them grow probably about a month more, there would have been a lot more of them. But however, they'd been growing for about 4.5, 5 months, and they'd done exceptionally well. And like I said, I just left them, let them do their thing, and watered them occasionally. So why not give it a shot? Why not plant some out? Perhaps even just plant some out in a little small tub. Experiment, plant some out in a big sack, in perhaps a little bucket. Why not just give it a go and just have some fun? While I was out in the garden, I came across this little beauty, which in all honesty is not very uncommon. I come across slowworms quite a lot. Now, a lot of people would be mistaken to think that this is a snake. However, it is not a snake and it is not a worm. It is in fact a legless lizard. Now, I will be doing some more videos in the future based on slowworms. Now, this was a female slowworm, and you can tell because females are brown and tend to have either like a dark black or a dark brown stripe going down their body, whereas males tend to be lighter, sometimes even greyish with little hints of blue in them, and are really lovely creatures. So if you'd like to learn more about slowworms and about other reptiles that we have in our wildlife in the UK, make sure you keep an eye out for our wildlife and reptile episode. Thank you for watching this episode of My Edible Garden. In our next episode, I'll be talking to you about this amazing plant called strawberry stick spinach, or stick spinach, or spinach berry. It is not only a fruit-bearing plant, but it is also a vegetable, as the leaves are a spinach, the stems are also edible, and these little berries that you can see produced here are also edible. Make sure you click that subscribe button and notification bell in order to stay notified when I upload new videos. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed.